The rich, the super rich, the highest echelon of society that he said are known privately among themselves as the untouchables. So this is what they call themselves, the untouchables. He says these are the ones who use, buy, sell, and consume this type of movie. The backers and the traders and the buyers and suppliers of this are in a very lucrative type of movie. God said that this takes place all over the world, but the core, the hub, and the center of this type of content is the United States. They are the biggest provider of this type of entertainment. The Lord says that people are taken from very many different areas of life to star in these movies, either forcibly or through trickery and deception. And I will now begin to talk about that. The first people that God talked about are people who are snatched and abducted from their homes for revenge purposes. So these might be political enemies of the state, or they might be people who anger the rich and powerful. God said that these people are stolen from their homes and they are forced into this industry. And those who force them into the industry don't have to worry that they'll talk later, because the whole point of a snuff film is to sexually abuse and kill a person on camera. These people will not be coming back to talk about who killed them or what happened to them. The Lord said some people become actors in snuff films because they think it's a straight shot to film. Basically, they think that they're about to make maybe a risky or even a hardcore pornographic movie, but they have no idea that the fake storyline or the fake script that they're being given, where it says at the end a guy's going to break in the room and he's going to try and stab you, and we want you to fight him as realistically as possible. They don't have any idea that the knife that's going to be used is not one of those bouncy ones that they use in Hollywood where the blade retracts. It's going to be a real knife, and it's only after the first couple of stabs, as I saw, that the person realizes what is going on. So, the Lord said that the pull and the draw of snuff films is because they are so real, because they are capturing real scenarios in real time. And as you watch them, you are watching a real person fighting for their real life. And that is what excites those who commission, enjoy, and share these films. Another type of person, besides the one who thinks it's a shot at fame, is the homeless and the runaways of the United States. The Lord says that if you've ever wondered where all the runaways end up, a large number of the runaways and a huge number of the homeless, where they end up, he said to look no further than the snuff film industry, because they end up there in droves. These are vulnerable people, meaning that they have no home, they have no shelter, they have no food, and they basically never have family members that are looking after them. Maybe because the reason they were put out of the home initially is because of substance dependencies, or because they were unruly and they didn't want to listen to their parents, and their parents kept insisting, you have to listen to me, so they run away, and they have no idea how dangerous the streets are. Some of these people are homeless, they've lost their homes, they've fallen on hard times. And one image that I saw is of a very handsome man, but he didn't look handsome at first. He was basically lying on the street on the cardboard that most homeless people try to lay on so that they're not laying on the cold sidewalk. This man was a Caucasian man, and he had a bushy beard that was starting to go gray, and he was grimy, he was very filthy, and I saw a person in a suit just from about the chest down, so I could see basically the bottoms of the hands and the suit, very nice suit, expensive shoes, walk up to this homeless guy. And so he's standing, and I see the homeless man looking up, and I see a hand extended with a good thick amount of cash, and the homeless man is looking at this money like, what? And then words were exchanged. I don't know what words they were, but then I see an impression on that picture of what the homeless man looks like when he's been cleaned up, when the beard has been rinsed and oiled and trimmed to look nice, and his hair has been given a modern day trendy haircut, and he was actually quite a handsome man. And so these people are lured into this life because initially they're told, you know, you're a great guy and you just fell on hard times and we want to help you, so let's get you cleaned up and this and that. And it is gradually through trickery and deception that they are led and saying, so would you be interested in doing this, and would you be interested in doing that? And they keep plying them with money money and with food and a better life that they've had before, so that both homeless and runaway are eager to try this, especially since they're told most of the time you can star in this little private independent film, but you never know who's going to see you, and it might be a break for you. A lot of these runaways are children who run off to Hollywood to make their fortune, and they tell their parents, "Mom, I'm going to be huge, and I'll let you know when I've made it and bring you back." There are many parents all over the United States still waiting to hear from their children, and the tragedy is that they will not. The Lord said to me that snuff films are the exact opposite of normal movies where the hero always wins or he escapes death. And he says the reason that these movies are so enjoyable is because they are the antithesis of a normal movie, and that there's a certain crowd that likes movies where the hero doesn't win and where the heroine does get killed. They find that entertainment and they enjoy the sick and twisted endings that these films provide. And then I saw a picture where it was like an express line, like a production line. And I saw a row of these movies passing by on CDs and also disc drives, little thumb drives, flowing in a little curvy river to the White House and also to major Capitol buildings in Washington, D.C. I also saw private parties of this type of thing being held all over America. Parties that are held where the highest level of guests are faces that you see daily on TV. A lot. I saw some of these faces, but the Lord has constrained me to name the names, saying that He will be the one to expose them. And His words are, "I will drag them into the light, and all their crimes will be known." So I repeat, I saw a lot of men and women who are famous in politics, movies, music, and they're known in the four corners of the world. And yet, when these movies are being made, some of these men and women pay high sums of money to star in the movie as the guest rapist, the guest molester, the lead murderer, or sometimes they pay money to be a live audience member at the taping of these movies. Some of them prefer to hang back and they pay lesser amounts of money to get a copy of the film, while some of those who act in the movies with them get a copy free as part of the package. The Lord says that these are highly paid events, and to attend one is not cheap. They are intensely private. And as a result of this, the snuff film industry has become a multi-million-dollar enterprise. The people who are victims in these movies are, and I quote, men, not so common. And I would imagine because it is very hard to snatch a grown man, he will constantly fight you, and therefore the men are seen as a lot more trouble than they're worth. However, young men act in these movies very commonly because young people aren't always thinking straight, and so they're very easy to coerce and fool with gifts, toys, and money. Young boys are excessively commonly used in these films, and women and girls of all ages are also excessively commonly used. The Lord says no matter who is used, they are all taken and their lives are extinguished on camera to entertain a certain type of person. And so God began to show me images of the type of person that they seek after to use in these films. It's either the blonde bombshell or the prom queen. So the blonde bombshell is usually older women. When I say older, I mean that you are not a teen or a child. So 19-year-old girls, 23-year-old girls, women in the flush of youth. Yet they still have to have an air of innocence, because the core of what makes a good snuff film is when the innocence is stripped away as the human being begins to realize that they are about to be put to death, and that everything that was told to them about preparing them for a Hollywood life, or preparing them to meet real stars, or preparing them to get a foot in the door was a lie. Some of these women agree to participate in these films because they're told, you need to be a little bit sexier. Would you be willing to do one or two sex scenes? Women who agree to this move forward in the industry faster than others. And so some of these girls do agree. And they have no idea that the act that they are told will be simulated will actually turn into a live rape on scene with maybe one person or multiple people suddenly showing up and taking part. At that point, all the screaming and all the fighting, this is the Lord speaking. So if you are unable to contain this content, you can click off, or you can do whatever you need to contain yourself.